Hey, my friend, it's Sean Moncrief. And in this episode, I want to talk to you about overcoming the fear of change. You know, we're fast approaching the end of the year, and it's not just the end of the year, it's the end of the decade. And I imagine you and your team are huddled around a table somewhere, reflecting on the past, looking at what you've achieved, and thinking about where you're going in this new decade, where you're going in the future, your vision for your business, what your goals are, and you're thinking about what's got to change in your business to get you to the next level, to help you achieve the growth that you're thinking about achieving. And change isn't easy. I congratulate you on what you're doing or have done up to now and getting the team together and thinking about where you're going. And I know it's this no easy process to go through. But I'm very fortunate. I get to spend time with entrepreneurs and get to sit in on some of these sessions. And I was recently at a session where the team had planned out where they're going. I knew they want to go from like 5% to 30% growth. And there was a lot of excitement. But along the way, I could sense some apprehension, some fear creeping into the room. And doing some reflection myself on the ride home on the train, I kind of thought about what my mentors, what my coaches, Judy and Brennan Bouchard, and if you're watching, Judy, Brennan, thank you very much for everything you've done for me and the hard work you've put in with me. But I remember Brennan talking about this first time of fear, and the hurdles that you have to get over as part of first-timer fear. And I thought to myself, a lot of this applies to leadership teams as well. It's not just an individual who's going through this first-timer fear, but a whole leadership team can go through the same thing. So as you're thinking about the goals you're setting, as you're thinking about where you want to go, there may be this apprehension or fear that creeps into the work that your leadership team is doing, and it's something that's going to hold you back. You're going to kind of say, well, we want to go there, but why don't we cling on to this, and why don't we cling on to that? Let's not change that part of the business. Let's keep this the same. But over there, maybe we'll introduce the subscription model and see how it goes. And that's not going to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. That's not going to take you from a 5% to a 30% or beyond business. So I want to address those hurdles that you need to get over as part of overcoming the fear of changing the way you're doing business, of going from a traditional model to a new way of doing business, to introducing a subscription model or whatever that may be. So the first thing is loss pain. And it's all about security. It's that in making a change, you might lose what you have already. You might lose the security of what you have already. And instead of focusing on what you stand to gain, you end up obsessing over what you might lose. The fearful mind kind of kicks in and it says, well, what if we lose customers in this process? What if some of our staff leave? What if we don't make the 5%? What if we lose money? And what's happening is that you're obsessing over the fear of losing the security that you have at the moment. And really what you need to be thinking about is, if you're not growing at 5% or you're not growing at all, you should be sort of scared of not doing anything at all. So what I want to encourage you to do is to start focusing on what you stand to gain. And recognize that there may be things, acknowledge that there may be things that you're going to lose. Acknowledge the risk associated with what you're doing. But then think, yeah, but over here, if we do this, then we'll see 6 million in revenue from a subscription model within 18 months. We can get the business to that point. Yeah, but if we embrace a subscription model, we'll see the 30% growth that we want. So if you are less obsessed with the pain of loss and more focused on what you stand to gain, you're over the loss pain hurdle already. The next hurdle you're going to have to overcome then is the process pain. It's basically that changing anything is hard, let alone what you stand to lose. And I was terrified of this myself. I went from running a company and having a business where I led a team of 250 people to going out and doing it alone, to wanting to follow the vision that I had to help entrepreneurs and to work with fellow entrepreneurs to help you grow your business, to help you create a valuable business. But I'd never done it all alone, and I felt like I was lacking certain things, that perhaps I wasn't competent in certain areas. And I knew that I'd have to work on those. I didn't have a sales team. I didn't have a marketing team anymore. It's just me. And I had to go through this process of building a whole new business from the ground up. But I knew that I had a vision. I had goals. And that going through the process could actually be something that is quite joyous and that I could learn a lot from, and that I could overcome that fear of going through the process, and that I'd have to work 24/7 for the next 3 years to get to where I want to go. And I'm still here. So think of change and think of the whole process of going through change as a game. Jack Stack came up with, or wrote the book, and I'll put that into the show notes, wrote the book, The Great Game of Business. Jack took a business from the brink of disaster and created a thriving business. It went from having the bank on the line all the time, or every week asking him for interest payments, to creating a business that all the employees have ownership in. And he's now known as the father of open book management. I encourage you to read his book if you haven't already. But he looked at business as a game. And I'm encouraging you to take a look at this process that you're going to need to go through in changing your business as somewhat a game. Something to overcome as a team. A challenge that you can overcome as a team. A challenge that can help you, take you to a place of growth. A challenge where you can master something new. So change can help you to build better leadership teams. It can help you to build a better company, better group of people, and make the process as engaging as possible for everyone. I love the whole idea of a battle board. You put up the board and you show folks what you're going to go through. January, we're doing this. This is the change we're seeing in January. February, this is the change we're seeing. March, April, May, June, July, all the way through to the end of next year. This is the change we're going through. This is how we're changing as a business. This is where the growth potential is. This is where the opportunity is. You're breathing a whole new breath of life into the business, re-energizing the business. So instead of focusing on the pain of going through changing the way the organization operates, changing the way your sales process operates, the fear of changing that process, of the way that you sell things, focus on the challenge of going through that process, focus on what you might learn, and focus on what the outcome is going to be. And let's talk about the outcome now. Third hurdle you got to get over is something called outcome pain. And it's really about, what if the grass isn't greener on the other side? So what if we do all this work and at the end of the day, we don't see the 30% revenue, or we're worse off than when we started, or we've lost a whole lot of clients, and it's really about, what if the outcome is not what we planned for? And I was terrified of this as well. I was basically going from running a business to working with and coaching executives and executive teams, and had and one of my biggest fears was, at the end of this, will I hate what I'm doing? If I go through all of this pain, if I go through the sort of loss pain process, the process pain, and I get to the other side of the fence, what if I hate what I'm doing? What if my lifestyle's not the same? What if I don't make the money that I wanted to make? So you can get stuck where you are right now, and you can let the sort of outcome hold you back, and you can be thinking, what if the grass is not green on the other side? Or you can start to focus on the joy of the change, on the power of going through the change, on the good and the satisfaction of going through the change process. So if we take that subscription model again, and you start to think about what things look like on the other side of the fence, is the grass greener over there? And you think about what a subscription model might bring to your business, and you start to focus on that. You start to focus on the growth that a subscription model might bring. You start to focus on the stability that a subscription business model might bring. You start to focus on the predictability, knowing that you've got this stream of income that's coming, that's throwing off profit into the future. Knowing that your business is becoming more valuable, instead of getting consumed with what might be on the other side of the fence that you don't like, the grass might not be greener. So focus on the positive side of what might be on the other side of the fence. And you think about it, it's kind of like having an apple tree on that side of the fence, and you get to prune it. So maybe there's certain products that you want to let go of, maybe there are people that go, but in that happening, the tree gets to grow. You kind of prune off the bits that aren't helping you with growth, that are holding you back. And by doing that, you're allowing your business to flourish. So don't obsess. Make sure you and your team aren't obsessing over loss pain, over process pain, over outcome pain. Start thinking about all of the positive things. I'm really keen to know what you think. Give me your thoughts. Give me your comments on overcoming the fear of change. What are you struggling with in your business? Put them in the comments below. I'd love to engage with you on this. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Lots of great stuff coming up.